What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Steeler Nation, Steeler fans, and viewers of other teams. Y'all know they like to come in here and see what we doing for whatever reason. But welcome to everybody who's watching. Appreciate you tuning in to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the virtual Heinz Field. Ready to talk a little bit of Steeler talk, man. Again, slow period right now, but we got a little bit to talk about, man. And I know I say this all the time, but these shows are probably going to be a little shorter. You know, I'm getting a lot better with zipping through my content, you know, saying what I have to say in and out, leaving some time for the callers, and then we're out of here. So that's what I plan to do tonight as well. Excuse me, guys, my lips feel a little chapped here. I don't know why. Maybe because I went out in the cold. Got a little isn't that funny? Right here at my desk, got a little chapstick here. So listen, I told you, I keep it real with y'all, man. I let y'all see the good, bad, the ugly, the real. Throw a little chapstick on there. Ain't no shame in mine. What's happening? How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's well, man. So like I said, we got a little bit to talk about tonight, and hopefully we get some phone calls, and you guys know the routine with the calls, man. Keep it short, in and out, you know. But let's see what we got. So first thing we're going to do, like we always do, we're going to say hello, and we're going to welcome everyone who was here, you know, commenting before the show started. I was a little bit late tonight, but I did put the time up correctly, man. As far as on the show, on the preview, it says 7:40, and I came in right at about 7:41. So, you know. But anyway, let's get to it. Shadow Slayer, Amon Bozeman, C. Antoine Hill, Jason Winningham, how you doing, sir? Bill C. 117, Still a Nation 412. Hello, Miss Lanisha, how you doing? And Lanisha, I'm gonna go ahead and say this in person. I don't think you mind, but I meant to email you earlier and just didn't get around to doing it. My bad. I want to thank you so much for your donation. You know, you donated outside of YouTube, so thank you for that. I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget that. I was going to email you, but I might as well say it here. And I appreciate your thoughts and for your comment. I appreciate you as well. So thank you for viewing, because if you were not viewing and the rest of you guys are still a nation, this content means nothing. So I thank you guys as much as you may thank me. So it's mutual. Jordan Mid, good brother Kenyon in the building. What's up, Kenyon? Who else we got in here? Sincere Washington, Garen Williamson, Eric. It just skipped on me, but I saw Eric McDuffie. There he is. Ali Howard, Leonard Green. Hello, Miss Debbie. How you doing? She's asking you guys how you all are doing. How's the family doing? And that's about it for now. Corey Foreman and Drew Cagle. Cagle, man, what's going on? How you been? Let's get into it, man. Look, like I said, I'm going to get through my content. You know, no need to hold you guys for so long. These LED lights are super bright. As y'all see, back of my arm there. All right, there we go. Toned it down a little bit. So, what's happening? Hope everybody's well. Let's see. What do we have on the docket? Let's see. What do I have as topics? We're definitely going to talk about the guy that you see there on screen. One, Ben Roethlisberger. Excuse me for a second, guys. I'm going to bring up the stream. You might hear double audio for a second. Back of my arm there. All right, there we go. Toned it down a little bit. And it's not allowing me to pause it. There we go. So you just heard the double audio there, but it's easier for me to basically allows me to comment easy if I have to write something. For whatever reason, it's signing me into a different one of my other YouTube channels when I try to type to you guys in the chat within the streaming software. It's weird. So now I'll just bring up the chat on the computer here. So appreciate you bearing with me with that. But let's get to the topics, man. First thing we're going to definitely talk about, well, not the first thing, no particular order, but we definitely want to talk about what do we do with the Steelers, man? What do the Steelers do with Ben Roethlisberger? As you guys can see in the title, I'm asking, basically not asking a question. I'm giving you guys a statement, us all included. The Steelers fans are going to have to make a decision. I'll tell you what I mean by that. But Steelers fans have a decision to make, man. We really do, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about here a little later in the show. JuJu Smith-Schuster mentioning that he wants to get paid what he's worth. The Steelers hire Adrian Clem as offensive coordinator, and the Steelers also signed a tackle for a futures contract. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce his name correctly. It's Aviante. I'm not sure. Collins. He's signed to a futures contract, so it definitely looks like the Steelers are putting some pieces in the bag, if you will, in terms of the O-line. But let's remember what Kenyon said, man. We're probably going to be looking offensive line early and often in the draft. We'll see. Because, I see a lot of people are mocking running backs to us, which, most of the mass media would look at high-level position of need, and they're going to say running back. But us who look at it, dive into the weeds of things in terms of our team, we know the offensive line needs some help as well. So it could go either way in the first round, but I would expect some type of offensive lineman to be drafted in the first or second round. So we shall see. So let's dive into Steelers hiring Adrian Clem as the offensive coordinator. And this one is a little interesting to me, man. It's almost like deja vu. What do I mean by that, some of you may say? Well, you guys remember when Mike Munchak departed the Steelers, right? And went to Denver. Who did we hire as his replacement? You guys remember? Who did we hire? You guessed it. Shaun Sarrett. Now, why is that important, you may ask? Well, Shaun Sarrett was basically an understudy who sat behind Mike Munchak, worked with the guys along with Mike Munchak. He was the most recent offensive line coach. And excuse me if I said coordinator before. I may have got my words twisted there, but we're talking about the offensive line. He was the coach, and his contract was basically not renewed. They didn't re-up. They didn't bring him back. And I think a lot of people were welcome to that decision. A lot of you guys, including myself, was like, well, listen, coaches coach, players make plays, but it is a combination of both. If a coach is not getting it done, you got to look at them and at least put some blame on them. Even all the way up to the head coach. As much as I sit here and I talk about, my support of Mike Tomlin, you do have to, put some blame on him as well at the fact that we have not won a Super Bowl or gone to a Super Bowl since we played Green Bay. And we could dissect the team, and many of us could find a lot of different reasons as to why. You can't pinpoint it all on Coach Tomlin. You can't pinpoint it all on the offensive coordinator. You can't pinpoint it all on the defensive coordinator. You can't pinpoint it all on all the players. But they all are a part of that puzzle. They are all part of that puzzle. So, again, I am one of the belief that the players have to execute, but coaches have to coach as well. And, who gets more level of blame or success, that's up for debate. I think there's clear things that you see that a coach does that, is different from what what a player does. I think we saw some decisions already in these playoffs with some other coaches outside of the Steelers organization make some decisions that are a little questionable. Let's talk about Green Bay really quick. And I know I'm sidetracking here. Usually those are the best conversations, right? When you sidetrack, when it's off the cuff. That third down, right? That 3rd and 8 from the 8-yard line. And Aaron Rodgers decided to throw back across his body, which he's capable of doing that, but into traffic right at the goal line. Catch is unsuccessful. You look at replay, and I kind of saw it in real time, but I really saw it in replay. Aaron Rodgers could have probably ran into the end zone. If not, if we're being modest, he gets to the 3. And maybe you go for it, with 3 or 2 yards to go. But I really think that Aaron Rodgers may have been able to get into the end zone. Looked like he had a clear lane. However, but you look at the replay over and over, it didn't look like he was really looking that way. He was looking at somebody to throw it to. So can you blame Aaron Rodgers? I know a lot of people say, hey, he should have ran it. I said it too. But if he's looking here the whole time, here's a coaching decision, though. Kick a field goal. In that situation, Field goal does nothing for you in that situation. Field goal is basically saying we're going to put 3 up now, and then when we get the ball back and score, we're going to be in the lead and make them have to catch up. Instead of just, I think at that point they were down by 8, I think. Yeah, because they made it a 5-point game when they kicked the field goal. I don't get it. With Aaron Rodgers, you take that chance and, hey, say you don't get the 4th and 8. Well, you playing the field position game. Now you hope your defense gets a stop on Tom Brady, you get good field position, and then you're in a better situation to possibly score. I'm just saying. A lot of coaches around the NFL have made some questionable decisions, and I think it's easy to identify those things. Can you say that's why the Packers lost? No. Did it contribute to them losing? Absolutely, because it eliminated the opportunity for them to score. But all right, let me get back on track. So we hired Surratt, who was within. Doesn't look like he panned out, and now we do it again. I don't know much about Adrian outside of the fact that, he was an assistant offensive line coach with us the last 2 seasons. That's about all I know about him in terms of his coaching. I know he doesn't have an extensive coaching career, but it's almost like, I don't know. The Steelers brought in a few guys, and the fact that they decided to, it does kind of seem like they went with what was left, so to speak, because you have to feel like if he was the first choice. You know what I mean? I don't know. Questionable. A little questionable in my opinion. But listen, what do I always tell you guys? I'm a Steelers fan through thick and thin, whatever that phrase is. I don't know. I just messed that phrase up. But you guys, y'all know the phrase. I'm all the way through to the end of my core, to my inner soul. I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler, man. I love the Steelers. I always will. So I'm not going to sit around and beat up decisions. My job now is to hope that Adrian Clem gets the job done. No point in me sitting here saying what they should have did, what they didn't do, and they would have do. At this point, it's done. I gave my opinion on it, but now I got to root for him to do well. Because that's something I don't understand about us Steeler Nation. A lot of times you guys will, just discredit a coach or bash on a player so hard when it doesn't mean anything. If they are on the staff, if they're on the roster, you might as well root for them. You might as well. Because it's in all of our best interest to hope that these persons pan out. But those are my thoughts there, man. I'm not sure how they got to that decision, but it is what it is. And see, as you can see, the Matt Canada situation is a little different. We all assumed that when he was brought in, he was being groomed to take over. It kind of felt like that, right? And like I said, I think, a part of the Rooney Rule, a part of that, going through that protocol, you got to bring in some minority guys. So I think the Pep Hamilton, bringing him in, as well as Hugh Jackson, I think it was a part of that. I know I said last week that, maybe Tomlin was sitting on the side looking at him crazy like, come on, man. But, I don't believe Coach Tomlin has anything to do with that side of things. If it was something like that, that's an organizational decision. It could have very well have been that Tomlin's sitting on the sideline like, man, I don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? But, nonetheless, Matt Canada was hired, and we all figured that was going to happen. And, most of us are happy about that. The next thing I want to talk about here, guys, let's talk a little bit about the Steelers bringing in another offensive tackle. This could go either way also, because the Steelers sometimes give you a peek into what they're thinking with certain roster moves and, futures contracts. And 2 of them that they just made, including this one, would make you think that maybe the Steelers, caught a little itch right there. Maybe the Steelers, don't really have plans to go in certain directions, i.e. offensive tackle, i.e. quarterback, with the Dwayne Haskins signing. But in this case and in this year, I don't always believe that. I think these guys could be more of the security blanket, if you will. Kind of like when we signed a guy like Bostic, it was kind of like some patchwork in case we can't get a certain guy in the draft or in case we can't get a certain position. I kind of feel that way with Haskins and this guy, with them being future contracts, because most of the time in these situations, it's a no lose situation. You have to cut them, it doesn't cost you anything, et cetera, et cetera. It makes sense. But it also sometimes leans into the fact that the Steelers are probably going to lose someone in that position. A lot of times that's what it leans into with these future contracts. Not always, but if you follow it closely, sometimes you can identify that. It makes me think that, okay, they're probably not going to bring back Big Al. And again, you hire, bring in another piece as a rotational piece or depth or what have you, in case Big Al, is going to walk out the door and you don't get somebody in the draft. Interesting, right? Same thing with quarterback. I don't think this is a, signed, sealed, and delivered that the Steelers won't go quarterback this year's draft if the right guy's there. But, you can kind of feel like he's just a piece that they know they're probably going to let Dobbs walk, and you're expecting Roethlisberger to come back, yada, yada, yada. And there you have it, right? But I can't always read into what they're doing this year. This season, this offseason so far seems a little more unique. So I just wanted to highlight that. Keep an eye on the type of positions and or guys that they're signing in future contracts. That's going to be important, especially with us not knowing the cap situation yet. It's a lot of speculation out there, but no one really knows where the number's going to be, what type of cuts and adjustments the Steelers are going to have to make to be in compliance to the cap. Now, speaking of which, brings me to the next point. And sorry, guys, that I seem like I keep licking and rubbing my lip, but again, it's this little chapped feeling, man. I think it's because it's super cold outside, snow on the ground and everything. When I was out there, monitoring my son while he was playing. So I apologize. And ladies in the chat, I swear I'm not trying to do my best LL Cool J impersonation with licking my lips. I'm not doing it from a try to be sexy standpoint. I apologize. The chapstick don't even seem to be working in real time. But anyway, brings me to my next point, man. JuJu Smith-Schuster. I'm going to sit back on this one for a minute and scratch my forehead. I don't know how to read this one. JuJu said all the right things. And by no way, shape, or form am I trying to get at him or I don't think what he said was negative. I know some people will read into what someone says. They'll pull one line out and they think that's what they feel overall. For those of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, JuJu made reference in his last statements of he wants to be paid what he's worth. What else is he supposed to say? So some people I'm already seeing is saying, oh, see, he's trying to get paid. Da, 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 da. Okay, so let's take our Steeler fanism and put it to the side for a moment. Why wouldn't he do that? Why wouldn't any professional athlete, any player on the team, et cetera, why wouldn't they not want to get paid what they're worth? Listen to that sentence. I want to be paid what I'm worth. That should be regardless of what team is for. This is what I do for a living. I play a contact sport that's very physical, and I'm dinged up week after week. Excuse me. I want to be paid what I'm worth. What's wrong with that statement? But see, Steeler fans sometimes, and I know other fans probably do it, but I only care and talk about my Steeler fans. What we do sometimes is we internalize that as, oh man, you're supposed to take the hometown discount. Oh man, you're supposed to do it for the team. Oh man, see, I knew, he wasn't loyal. What? Time out. hometown discount. If I'm not mistaken, this kid ain't from Pittsburgh. I mean, he played his entire, career with Pittsburgh so far, 4 years. But I mean, come on. Loyalty, I feel you on that, but at the same time, it's a business, baby. It's a business. Organization got to be loyal to him too. So while we can sit on the sideline and say, man, you got to be loyal to the team, no. The organization needs to be loyal too. But he then continued to say he would like to be back in Pittsburgh. He would like to be playing alongside Ben Roethlisberger once again. Right? So don't read so much into what he's saying. But I think what he said, I ain't mad at that. He should get paid what he's worth. Why shouldn't he? Let me interrupt myself really quick, man, and say thank you to Jason Winningham. I really appreciate the donation. I'm going to read your comment. And guys, let me know, did y'all hear the applause this time? That reminded me to check on something. I think I set it up to where you guys may have been able to hear it this time. So y'all let me know if you did or didn't. If you did, it's all good. But he says, very intriguing. Big Ben saves money, doesn't matter. I wonder how much he will be renegotiated to make room to bring back guys. We have 22 free agents. Y'all didn't hear it. Okay. I don't know. I think what I'm going to start doing is playing the applause manually. So let's give it a try. Let me know if y'all hear this one. Let me know if y'all hear that one. We're going to see. Y'all may hear it, y'all may not, but I'm going to fix it. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Let me fix it. And the reason why this is important to me, like I told y'all, man, this is a family affair, right? I want you guys to always feel included. So I want you to hear, excuse me, I want you to hear, when I'm giving you your praise. Here we go. So let's try it one more time. Let's see if this one works. There it is. I think you guys are going to hear this one. Give me the confirmation. But anyway, you're absolutely right, Mr. Winningham. That brings me to my final point of the night, and then I will open it up to the phone calls. What do the Steelers do with Ben Roethlisberger? And we're going to talk a little bit about, what that means and what he said and, what AR2 said. Art Rooney II, for those of you guys that don't know. And, we'll get into that here in just a moment. But I did want to reflect really quick and say this. I was listening to the Terrible podcast yesterday, and Dave Bryant said something very, very true. He said he sometimes wonders if Ben Roethlisberger says a lot of these things purposely. And what he was referring to was Ben's comment of him saying that it's not about the money. I'll play for any amount. Yeah, but do y'all really believe Ben when he says that? And listen, I'm not here to cast any judgment on Ben. I'm just saying, I don't know about that, right? I don't know about that. And I don't know if we can take him at face value and take that literally and say, oh man, Ben gonna play on the minimum. He gonna renegotiate his contract down to the minimum. No. Maybe it means, look, we got to find a way to restructure, and I'm willing to do that. You keep hearing about the, doing the voidable years extension, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe that's what he's talking about. Do I think Ben is going to negotiate way down? Because in order for it to help with cap, I mean, we talk about Ben having to play on like $2-3 million. I don't see it happening. I don't see that happening. So I am curious to see how they're going to do it. I think what makes the most sense is they will do the ghost years, if you will, the voidable years. But it remains to be seen. So, but do you believe how far do you read into those exact words of, I would play for anything. It's not about the contract. I don't know. I don't believe the hype when it comes to that. All right. But it is very interesting that Mr. Rooney said very clearly that we would love to have Ben Roethlisberger back, but not at that cap hit. And here's the question I have. Is it just me, or is Mr. Rooney talking like they control the cards? Let me explain what I'm saying. We all know what Ben's cap hit is, right? We all know, at least I think I would know, it'd be a huge dead money hit if we were to outright cut him, as far as I know. Remember, I was asking the question, what part of what we owe him this coming season does he not get, if any? But what part does he not get if he decides to walk away and retires? Does he still get the full guarantee? I don't know. I don't know all the contract stuff. But it sure sounded to me like AR2 was speaking as if, he got the big joker. I don't think you do. But again, maybe he knows something that I don't. But to come out and say we can't do it at that cap, well, so what if Ben says I'm not going to renegotiate? Then what? You just going to cut him and still pay him what you owe him? So it was very interesting to hear him come out and say that. So like I said, maybe he knows something that I don't. I don't know. He is, the president, so obviously he knows. But that's an interesting point. He's saying it. He's saying it, guys, like he's controlling the deck. I don't know. But while we're speaking about Rooney, we got to take some time out, and maybe we'll do a brief moment of silence, man, for Mrs. Rooney, Patricia Rooney. I believe I got her first name correct there. She passed away. So, that was AR2's mother. So I definitely want to, just show my respect, man, and give a little brief moment of silence for her and the Rooney family. He's a much older man than I am, but you guys know I lost my mother in November, this past November. So I understand, and I honestly, I don't think it feels any better because you're an older person. I don't care if your mom is 90 plus years old. You probably, wow, I just thought about this. I lost my mom and her mom, my grandmother, in the same year. My grandma passed away back in January of 2020. She was 96 years old. Well, about to be 96. She would have turned 96 in February. Birthday was on February the 11th, excuse me, not Valentine's Day. But I remember when my grandma passed, and with her being that old, and we all understood the circle of life, and she lived a long, full life. My mom and my aunt, they still torn up. It's still their mom. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like AR2 it doesn't hit as hard because he's an older gentleman. So, I sympathize with him because, unfortunately, I know what it feels like. I wish I could have been his age before I lost my mother. So I just want to do a quick moment of silence, man. I'm actually going to pause the music and everything. So we'll do about a quick 10 seconds, man. Rest in peace to Mrs. Rooney. And God bless and, blessings and condolences to the Rooney family. Let's go ahead and get that moment of silence. All right. God bless, man. Let's get an applause for a wonderful life lived. All right. So let's get back on track. So, Steelers fans, we have a decision to make. about what do we want and what do we expect at quarterback for 2021 season. First, let me give you my thoughts. I'm a little torn, man. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to take the sly way out. I'm torn. Because on one hand, do I think the Steelers have what it takes to get and win the Super Bowl next season? I can't say I 100% believe in that. This past season, we saw what the offense could have been capable of doing because we had spurts. We had spurts in the run game. Those 5 games where we had a 100-yard plus rusher. We had 2 backs. Remember that. 2 backs that ran for more than 100 yards. Benny Snell. Remember early in the season, Benny Snell got off. Both him and Connor had 100-yard rushing games. Individually. Run game fizzled out. Right? Ben Roethlisberger was protecting the football, which I love to see. Ben Roethlisberger was not being sacked as much. Love to see that. Ben Roethlisberger had he was getting rid of the ball faster than any other quarterback in the league. Now, most people would say, I would like to see that. But because of that, we weren't really pushing the ball down the field. So it kind of hurt us with, splash plays and Ben Roethlisberger, taking those deep shots and buying a little more time in the pocket. Ben Roethlisberger's mobility started getting a little funny after he tweaked his knee a little bit. We became very predictable. And when we needed it the most, the offense either couldn't get it done or we didn't trust the short running game to go for a 4th and 1, a 3rd and 2. Right? Defense sprung a few leaks last year. Are we going to improve defensively? Where are those pieces? More than likely, Bud is gone, which I'm a little high on Alex Highsmith. I think Highsmith has a huge upside. So I'm not give this kid a full a full off season and whatever type of training camp they're able to do and all of that, knowing he's the man. And let's see what he's going to be. I think Highsmith is good, man. He's going to be okay. I think we got a bright spot right there. We don't know what else we're going to draft defensively or free agent wise that's going to help us out in other spots and areas. So that remains to be seen. What will our cornerback group look like? We're more than likely going to lose a Mike Hilton. There's a lot of things to consider there. So I don't know if I believe right now that we are a Super Bowl team next year. But on the flip side, I have zero confidence that we are a Super Bowl team or what have you without Ben Roethlisberger. So the decision is this, that we have to make as Steelers fans. Which way do you choose? Are you going to accept that the Steelers are about to be upon a real rebuild type situation? And this might be a season where we kind of seeing what we got and patching things together and we're searching for that franchise quarterback or a stopgap type of guy, which is it going to be Mason or is it going to be Dwayne Haskins or someone else? Are we willing to accept that? It's a tough decision to make, right? Because again, my personal opinions, I don't think either one of those wins us another title next year. So I'm almost in favor of getting the rebuild, started sooner than later. That's just me. Love Ben Roethlisberger. Love what he's done for us. Like I said, Ben has allowed me to witness 2 Super Bowl wins. I didn't witness the one in the 70s. I didn't witness that. Ben is my Super Bowl winning quarterback. Ben is my favorite quarterback all time for the Steelers. It's not Terry Bradshaw. I didn't see Terry Bradshaw play. That's not a disrespect to the 70s team. I didn't see them play. Ben has allowed me to feel like a champion, you know, and share that happiness with fellow Steelers fans in my time watching Steelers football. I will always thank him for that. The same way I will always thank James Harrison for making me lose my voice against the Cardinals in the Super Bowl at the goal line when he faked the pass rush and dropped back into coverage. Oh my God. I remember it vividly because my niece at the time was really young, like real young, right? And I remember me and my wife at the time, you know, we weren't married then, but we lived in a high-rise apartment. You know, that's when we were still living in Silver Spring, Maryland, right? We had a high-rise, and I was saying we can't make too much noise because there's people under us. And when that happened, I'm jumping up and down. Here's me telling them we can't be too loud and, you know, telling the kids to respect, you know, don't be so loud. And I'm literally jumping up and down in here. I will always love Debo for that. I don't care how it ended, right? But I'm kind of ready to get it moving, man. I'm not opposed to Ben staying. I'm just saying, if I look within my own thoughts and I don't think that Roethlisberger is winning a Super Bowl next year, and I don't think anybody on our roster right now or who we would get in the draft, which we ain't getting nobody in the draft that's going to win us a Super Bowl because we ain't picking that early, then I kind of feel like let's start rebuilding early. Why not? But those are just my thoughts, man. And we shall see. We shall see. But I think it's very interesting to hear Mr. Rooney talk the way he talks. Like it's almost like they willing to part ways, but do you do that? And you still got to pay the money. Like I don't know. Very interesting, man. It's very interesting to hear him come out and say we would love to have him back, but we can't do it at that cap hit. That is something very interesting. Round of applause to the good brother C. Antoine Hill, man. Appreciate you. So let me throw you a round of applause out there. Thank you for the donation, man. Really appreciate it. He says, I talked to my boy from Steel City Underground, and he believes we should draft, if they rebuild, and draft a quarterback like Trey Lance. But again, you guys got to ask yourselves, man. You got to ask yourselves, where do the Steelers draft these guys? Where would we have to draft them? And when you come up with that number in that round, do you think they take the quarterback right there? Also, if you're talking about a trade situation, do you think that's what they're thinking about doing when it comes to quarterback? So I'm not disagreeing with the comment. It's just what you think the Steelers are going to do is the question. So there you go. But all right, man, I've talked long enough, way longer than I expected. So let me see if we, by any chance, have any phone calls. There's only one. Mr. Winningham, I believe that is, Mr. Jason. So let me get my headphones on and we'll take his call. Area code 803. What you got for us?
Hey, good evening to everyone, especially the ladies. You hit on a lot of things. You remember you saying you never saw the 70 Steelers. Well, I saw the 70 Steelers, and a hurting thing was after Bradshaw retired, we went through maybe 22 years between Bradshaw and Big Ben.
Wow.
That's a long time. In between, we went through some tough seasons. I don't know much about Trey Lance, so I can't really say, yeah, let's go get Trey Lance, because I don't think he played but 1 or 2 games this year, so I don't know what he actually brings to the table. We may have to go with Big Ben. The odd thing when Mr. Rooney speaks, everybody listens, because he doesn't really get out there in front of the media very often unless he has to say something.
Right.
And he has to make a point across. So maybe this is the last dance. If Big Ben comes back, maybe this is the last dance. There's a possibility Joe Hayden may not be back. so we can bring a Mike Hilton in. I would love if we were able to somehow, I doubt it, but maybe being that he was injured, maybe we can bring a Bud Dupree back to give it the last dance. But it's inevitable. We have to look forward to the future without Big Ben. But I don't see us going out drafting a quarterback this year, and I don't see anybody outside of Trevor Lawrence who I would like. I'm not sure how the quarterback from Ohio State's game is going to translate to the NFL.
Yeah.
But thank you very much. Hope everybody has a great evening.
Man, Mr. Winningham, man, we definitely appreciate you, man. Again, man, I always say it. It's something about that the calming of your voice, man. You just got that wisdom sound to you, you know, like you know, obviously with you saying, you know, the extent of your viewing pleasure of the Steelers, you know, obviously you're older than me. Like I said, you give me that father vibe, you know, like, you know, I don't know if you have children or not, but you just sound like a guy with a lot of wisdom. So I enjoy when you call, man. I really do. I really mean that when I say that. And that's why I'm going to call you sir and mister, you know, because it's just a respect thing with me. Yeah. I don't disagree with one word. The Bud comment is interesting, though, because, again, that's something to consider. I know we talked about it here a couple times since the season, but you never know, man, what that injury's going to do. You know, did that hurt his market? You know, one would assume that he still would get the money, but who knows? And who knows? What if the cap comes in higher than they're expecting? You know, nobody really knows right now, so I know a lot of people are doing the mock-ups based on, you know, the bottom floor. You know, I think, 175, but nobody knows. What if it comes in at 190, 195? Then now you're talking about a whole different ball game. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. Again, I just cannot get those comments out my head, man, from Mr. Rooney. Like, he knows something. And obviously, he knows more than us, but he's talking as if, like I said, for you guys who play cards, he's talking like he in a spades game and he got the big and little joker and the deuce. You know, he talking like he got the whole thing. He's sitting with the ace of spade, the deuce of spade, big joker, little joker. That's how he talking. Look, we want you back, but not at that cap. Huh? So what you gonna do? Interesting. I don't think a trade situation happening. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Yeah. I'll be honest, man. I haven't watched a lot of these young guys play either. And 609, I'll catch you here in just a second. I haven't watched, I watched a decent amount of college football this year. It just didn't have the same feel to me. I'm going to go back and watch some key players and key positions, though, because I can't forget what Kevin Colbert also said, is that they won't, your number one pick is not going to be a guy that didn't play this season. So you got to consider the people who sat out. So now we got to start looking at those who were actually on the field and try to glean from that, based on their normal Power 5 conferences and all that jazz and pro days, try to figure out exactly who they looking at. But yeah, man, I don't know. But I can't wait till we have some concrete information, because Ben could very well retire, man. And when him saying that he wants to, the contract doesn't matter, and he already had said a couple weeks before that, he would like to have JuJu back. It is going to be very interesting to see what they do with the deal. Most people are expecting, the voidable years, but it's going to be very interesting to see how they manage this cap and who's back and who isn't. The Joe Hayden thing that you just mentioned, you're right. Who knows if Joe Hayden is coming back? See, it's a lot of these variables, man. The guy's plus 30. And after you get, a certain age, remember Ike Taylor? Y'all remember when Ike Taylor just couldn't run no more? Guys just beating him deep. That's kind of Joe Hayden. I think now you got to kind of protect Joe Hayden, man, is maybe put him inside or, let him play deep sometimes. I don't know, because, he has ball skills. But it's almost like you got to hope that it's more of an intermediate route with Joe Hayden. He still plays well, but y'all know what I'm saying. There's been times, man, that he just can't, when we do the replace coverage and stuff like that, Hayden, he can't run no more. Not saying he's super slow, but y'all know what I'm saying. He's not what he once was. He's not a spring chicken anymore. So what if he decides to hang it up? So it's draft is always interesting, man, because whether we want to accept it or not, the team always has more holes in it than we think. So it's always interesting to see how we draft. Let's get this other call here, man. Area code 609. What you got for us?
What's going on, SimFBallCritic? First thing first. Let's say if Big Ben was to retire, man. I feel like dark days are ahead of us. I think we've been very, lucky that we had Big Ben, Mike Tomlin, and a winning culture, as the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know what I mean? 14 seasons without a losing season. Like, come on now. Like, we've been very, lucky, to have that ever happen. Because other franchises like the Jets and and the Chiefs, recent years and stuff, they've been having losing season stuff. But now the Chiefs, they're like the top dogs of the AFC and NFL and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, this upcoming season, I don't know if we're going to win the Super Bowl, because there's a lot of questions. If JuJu's going to stay, because I'm pretty sure a team's going to pay him wide receiver one type money, because he balled out all 4 years as Pittsburgh Steelers. But the free coming back. You still got to pay T.J. Watt. So I mean, that right there too. You got to pay T.J. Watt. Still got to pay Cam Sutton. All this money got to go to the defense and stuff. It's somebody's got to go. And, like you said, with 20-some free agents and stuff, a lot of people are going to go. So it's going to be a lot of new faces this upcoming NFL season and stuff. But one draft process I want you to take a look at. He has a draft possibility of maybe in late first round, early second round. His name is Alex Leatherwood from Alabama. I want you to take a look at him.
The tackle?
I think he could be. Yes. I think he could be something special, especially from Alabama stuff. But that's all I gotta say. I know I've been a little bit too long, but yeah. Thanks a lot for taking my call.
Man, no problem. Thanks for calling. And the time, not so much. Now we're not getting a huge amount of calls, so guys don't have to be extremely brief. But I appreciate you guys kind of sticking to the script. But it's all good, man. It's probably just you two guys tonight, anyway. I haven't watched him. I'll be honest. I haven't watched any, tackles or offensive linemen extensively, even though I'm familiar with him and, just from watching football. But I definitely need to hone in on that. I know Kenyon had already said he's got a list of guys that, three of us definitely need to just start watching and, come back, give our reports on it. Pretty sure there's a lot of offensive linemen included in that. But yeah, man, that is one component with Bud. We cannot lose sight of that. We were saying that before when we were talking about signing him long-term, period. Before his injury, even before last season. We know TJ's coming. And TJ is going to be especially if he continues to play the way he has been playing. He will be the highest paid defender. They're going to have to make that happen. He will definitely be the highest paid pass rusher. But if he has another season like he had last season, no reason for me to think that he's not capable of doing that. Steelers going to have to throw the bank at him. So, yeah, Bud is probably, he's probably done. He's probably done with us. And, it is what it is. Sometimes you just have to move on from certain talents and, think about this. Here's the real question for you guys. Let's say Bud Dupree would have panned out, right? Wonder if we still would have drafted TJ. Like, say Bud was peaking. second year or so, second, third year. It makes you, you think they might have still have acquired somebody like Watt because we probably would have still got him where we got him. And then both of these dudes are super studs, not just what we saw last year and what we saw some part of this season, but let's say they both, which one of them guys would you pay in? With Ben Roethlisberger still being on the books. See what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to make tough decisions, man, with the days of cap and all of that. So it is what it is. But fire away, guys. I want to hear your thoughts, man. Anything you guys want to mention, throw at me really quick, man. We got a little time to spend in here, man. We wrapped up in less than an hour. We literally are at 51 minutes now. When was the last time we done that? But not a whole lot more I could say, man. Let's see. Let's read this comment here. BSG says, based on a position in the draft where the Steelers are in, do you respect the value of talent available or get a player of position need? Was Artie Burns a reach during that draft? He was. Artie Burns was a reach. Most people, it's even been said that the Steelers had scouted and they were very interested in William Jackson. So, yeah, Artie Burns was kind of the consolation prize. And to be honest, in all fairness, so was T.J. Watt, right? T.J. Watt was not the premier pass rusher coming in that draft. He was kind of the last of the heap of possible first rounders that shown some flash. He's going to be maybe a little bit of a project because, he didn't play as long at the position and look what he turned out to be. But if you want to be honest, I'm not going to say he was a reach, but he was kind of let's take a chance with this guy. Artie was probably sort of like that, but maybe a little more of a reach. And I'm not talking about just the way he turned out because it's easy to make that assessment after a guy didn't pan out, right? But Artie was probably the last of the remaining possible first round picks. May have gotten him in the second round. And to be fair, I honestly don't think we utilized Artie Burns' skill set enough. I don't know how much difference it would have made in the grand scheme of things, but Artie Burns was more so drafted to be, a press corner, a man-to-man bump and run corner. We rarely used him in that capacity. We ran him in zone a lot, even in cover 3. And what did we see from Artie Burns? A lot of times he's peeking in the backfield the whole time. He's trying to play in between, and he would get burned. So somebody says Edmonds was a reach. Yeah, possibly. Edmonds is probably a guy that you could have gotten later on. Y'all know my story with that. I would have preferred Jesse Bates. And y'all know the backstory that, like I said, my wife's first cousin, is he his first cousin or second cousin? I don't know, but it's her mom's first cousin's son. So, close enough. Second cousins, right? He's Jesse Bates' agent. So that just would have been very interesting, man. And, we talked about it and he said he thought that they had a shot to go to Pittsburgh as well, but they chose Edmonds. But I would have loved to have gotten Jesse Bates at that moment and would have gotten the ball hawk type of safety earlier than later. Perhaps then we wouldn't have had Minka, right? We'd probably be still talking about a strong safety that we need. But, hindsight is 20/20. You know what I mean? Let's see what else y'all got. Thomas Lombardi says, maybe you said this already, but why don't they go after Watson from Houston? Thomas, I can't blame anybody because, again, not everybody, pays as close attention to some of the, the nooks and crannies of the Steelers organization like I do. Like, some of us nutty guys that watch everything. But the biggest reason would be it's almost virtually impossible to it's virtually impossible to trade for Deshaun Watson. We simply do not have the cap space at this moment. We just don't. No way, no shape, no form will we be able to comfortably trade for Deshaun Watson with Ben Roethlisberger on the roster. Probably even if Ben Roethlisberger wasn't on the roster, if he was cut. Because, again, that dead money and all of that, nah. No way we can make that happen. That is just simple. It's the cap, man. You said Thomas joins Sims Madden stream. Yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely do. Oh, by the way, guys, I got some action coming to you guys soon. It's not a stream, it's a pre-recorded game, but actually I've already played. Let me see. I played the opener and I think I played week 2. But what I'm going to bring to you guys, I got the video already cut up. I just need to add the audio to it, and I don't know if I'll get to it tonight, but pretty soon. But you're going to see the last preseason game, so you'll be able to see guys like Najee and in action and Felipe Franks. And yeah, I think you guys will enjoy that, man, just so you can kind of just get a feel for how the gameplay is. And speaking of Madden, a big patch came out today, so I haven't played the game since the title update. It's supposed to fix a lot. Well, I can't say a lot, but apparently they addressed, a lot of coverage issues with a lot of the zones and man coverage. And I saw something about tackling and blocking. I mean, it seemed like a pretty extensive, title update. So maybe they've gotten the game better, not great. Because, y'all know, most of you guys that know me from that side, it's all about replicating simulation gameplay, number one, but number two is depth. I just don't understand, man, over the years, how Madden went from how deep it was in franchise mode, even as far back as 2008, to where it is now. It's just a shame, man. But anyway, yeah, for you guys, man, that just want to, have more Steelers stuff to talk about, what we're basically doing in the Madden side is, we're starting 2021. We've drafted some guys, and Mason Rudolph is the starting quarterback because it was nobody we could grab in the draft, man. It's going to be interesting. Just give us something to do, man, while we don't have as much to talk about with the real life Steelers at the moment. What's up, Steel City Film Room? Let's see what else y'all got. Lydell Dorsey says, after seeing what the Rams just did for Matt Stafford, there's no way the Steelers can get Watson. Yeah, man. And how y'all feel about that? Y'all think the Rams gave up too much? Jared Goff, a 3rd-round pick in 2021, a 1st in 2022, and a 1st in 2023, if I got that correct. Wow. How y'all feel about that? And I happen to think, man, that I think your boy Matt Stafford gonna do all right over there, man. I really do. Him and McVay, I think they're gonna do okay over there. Something to keep a look at. Speaking of which, man, just to give you a little more insight into the Madden bit, I'm running the pistol playbook because, there's talk out there that they think Matt Canada may implement more of that. So I decided to give, the offense a different look. And let me tell you, oh boy, I like it. I love it in the virtual world. So that's what you're going to see, man, as far as gameplay. I'm doing the full pistol playbook. So we're going to try to have some fun with that thing. Darius Dill says, we need to wait until next year to get a quarterback. Next year's class is going to be better than the 04 class. Okay, and you know what? That's probably what the Steelers are going to do, Darius, if we're being honest. I don't think they rushed to get a quarterback. Again, we'll have to see what happens with Ben Roethlisberger. But even with that, I'm going to be honest with y'all. If Ben Roethlisberger retires, I have news for you guys. Mason Rudolph will be your starting quarterback. Dwayne Haskins perhaps still on the roster, and they may get a veteran that they can get at the minimum. Yeah. I still don't think they draft a quarterback this season because I think to get one of the high projected guys, it's going to take too much to go up to get them. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to draft a guy early. I mean, we all know how this game is played. You have to base it off of projections, and you can't predict that you're going to find a Russell Wilson. You can't predict that you're going to find a Tom Brady. These guys later on. You just can't. So you have to go with the projected higher talent. So we'll see. But all right, guys, we right at the hour, man. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this thing off right about here. Let me read Debbie's comment, though. We definitely want to get Debbie's comment. I'll read Debbie and Still City. Still City says, Mason is a good bridge to your franchise guy. Yeah, man. I mean, and that's probably what it's going to be, Still a Nation. Like, I'm just being 100% real and honest with you guys, man. Don't get your hopes up. Debbie, we'll end with Miss Debbie's comment. She says, the GM at the Rams should be let go. For what Detroit got for Stafford, the Rams will have to pay the $22 million of Goff's contract. Basically, gave up their next 2 years. Debbie, I'm no mathematician. I'm no NFL scout. I'm just a guy with logic. Listen, man. Whether you hate or love Jared Goff, the kid is 26. He's shown that he could be a solid quarterback, right? I mean, heck, same guy took you, Coach McVay, and the Rams GMs or whoever, took y'all to the Super Bowl. And you give him up. Listen. I know a lot of people are down on Matthew Stafford because he plays in Detroit. Let's be honest. He doesn't have the winning resume, but that kid is nice. I know some people, excuse me, maybe even some of you guys in the chat are going to say, oh, he trapped. No, he's not. Matt Stafford is nice, bro, as far as his talent. Y'all remember when we played them? When JuJu had the 97-yard touchdown? You remember all them whole shots he was hitting us with? Matthew Stafford can make every throw on the field. And he's tough. I would love a Matt Stafford in Pittsburgh, like that type of guy. And I think he's going to be all right. I think he's going to fit right in. But at the same time, man, whoa, I just knocked my headphones over. Sorry about that noise there. At the same time, you give up a young quarterback and all of those picks. I mean, what's Stafford? What's he now, 30, 31? Somebody look that up really quick before I sign off. What's Stafford? Is he 31 yet? 32? Something like that? Got to be somewhere around there. He's been in the league, 10 years? McVay is literally telling Goff what to do before every play. Goff is in his 5th year. Yeah. 32. So, you still, it's still tread on that tire. You won't have to do the rotation just yet. Still some tread on that tire. I think Stafford going to be okay, man. I think he could give you a solid 4 or 5. I think he still has that in the tank. The boy can make every throw. He's, again, you just didn't really see it as much in Detroit. He turns 33 next week. Okay. But yeah, man, I just think they gave up way too much. Way too much. Oh, well, we'll end it on this right here, man, and I'll wait till y'all won't hear it anyway, so let's throw the round of applause now because you don't hear the automated one. Excuse me. Round of applause, man, to Lydell Dorsey for the donation. I appreciate that. He says, AB or Bell, who gets the ring? Wow. Isn't that crazy, guys? Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell will walk away with a Super Bowl ring after all of that time with Pittsburgh, after all of that offensive firepower. And they're finally going to get a ring, one of those guys. Here's the funny thing, though. Neither one of those guys, in my opinion, really contributed to the ring. Yeah, AB did a couple things here and there, but if you watch the Tampa Bay games and if you watch the Kansas City games, neither one of those dudes were like the guy. It's very possible that they don't even come up big in the Super Bowl, either one of them. It's very possible of that, right? I will say this really quick, if you're the type that bets, I don't particularly gamble, especially not betting sites. I've gone to casinos and stuff and have a good time, but just don't really gamble like that. But just throw something out there for you guys that I also heard on Steelers Depot, I think last week. I think Steelers Depot said it. Maybe somebody else. But apparently there was a line out there where there's a bet. I don't know if it was Steelers Depot. I heard this somewhere, but there's a bet that $5 would get you 100. on whether AB and Le'Veon Bell would both get a touchdown in the Super Bowl. So if y'all can find that out there, imagine dropping like a little 20 on that. And if they both were to score, it's possible. It's possible Le'Veon Bell could get a short run into the end zone. It's possible that Tom Brady can find Antonio Brown. So that might be a nice little come up. But either way, my personal opinion, again, like I said, this is not to rain on them. I enjoyed them when they were Steelers. We're never going to forget Antonio Brown because, again, by far, production-wise, probably the best receiver we've seen in Steeler history. I mean, as far as talent and what he did on a consistent basis, come on. You just can't forget things like that, nor will you forget Le'Veon Bell's run style. So I appreciate both of those guys. However, neither one of those guys, to me, were big factors in getting to the Super Bowl, and I don't think either one of them will be a big factor in the Super Bowl. So that's just my thoughts. But hey, man, congratulations to them. Congratulations to them. But all right, man, let me go ahead and get out of here. Love you guys, man. Appreciate y'all coming through. Before I go, I'm going to remind you right there, hit that big red subscribe button, hit that little bell icon, hit the like button. That's all I'm asking you guys to do. It doesn't cost you a thing. And speaking of cost, thank you all who donated here tonight. Once again, thank you, Lanisha, for donating outside of YouTube, man. I appreciate all of you that do that. I know she did it the most recently, so her name is on my mind there. Thank you for that. And anybody who, prefers to donate. I've had people ask me this off air, like, hey, man, I would like to donate. I don't know how. I don't have, they say they don't really want to do it through YouTube. Well, I have two alternatives. There's Cash App and there's PayPal. That information is right there in the description. So if you decide to do so, thank you in advance. Other than that, hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'm talking like it's already the weekend. I'm trying to hurry up and get there, right? So let's get over Hump Day tomorrow, and then maybe we can start talking weekend. But I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the week. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy the Super Bowl. Enjoy the Super Bowl, man. Why not? I know we're not there, but, let's enjoy the best we can, all right? So hope everybody is well. Stay safe. God bless. And thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Peace.